G'day everybody and welcome to the House of Mario, South Australian Nintendo podcast that is backed by a 120 Power Star rating. I'm your host Drew Agnew and the doors to episode 296 are open. Today on the show we're going to be talking about our favourite games of 2024. Very much looking forward to doing it. It's been a fantastic year, been a lot of fun. We'll talk all about that as my good friend Josh, or JT if you like. Josh, how you going, mate?
Very well, Drew. Merry Christmas, everyone, because this is coming out on Christmas Day, I believe. Not being recorded 2 days prior or anything like that. Merry Christmas, everyone. Hello, Drew. Always good to be on. We're going to talk some good stuff this year because it's been, an interesting year, but some very good games still to talk about. So excited for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I echo that. Merry Christmas, everyone. Hope you have a great day. And I think a lot of people might be busy and whatever, even if you're listening to it in 2025 afterwards. Hope you had a great New Year's, all of that. And, hope you had a fantastic time. But, it's been a funny year, Josh, just for the fact we started off being like, oh, yeah, Switch 2, rubbing our hands, can't wait. And it just sort of been like, all right, here's some... That's not going to happen. Here's some games, but no heavy hitters. And I think a lot of Nintendo fans are like, cool. And we got through it. It's been by no means a bad year. We've had bad years in the past, even like the launch year of the Wii U and things like that, where it's like when it should have been good, when it should have been all systems go. But considering this is the 7th year of Switch, and we've still got like a game a month pretty much, even if it is a port or it is like a smaller game or whatever have you. It's been interesting, but I know for me, I've had a lot of time sort of off Switch as well. I've been on PlayStation 5, Steam Deck, all of that. And I am very much just like in waiting mode now, especially looking to early next year where it is, it's Donkey Kong Returns. I love that game, but I literally just played it at the start of this year on 3DS. So I don't know if I'm like itching to jump back, straight back into it, especially for what they're asking full price as well. So, whether I get a review code or not, that's going to be the determine whether I actually play it on Switch or not.
Yeah.
There's probably be no way where I'd actually go and buy it full price.
Fork it out. Yeah.
And Xenoblade Chronicles X, and that's kind of what we know for the rest of the year, or the rest of Nintendo's releases. But yeah, it's been a good year. I've really enjoyed my gaming, and I've had a great year so far, and I know you have too. Like it's just been It's been fun. I know there's like a lot of people poo-pooing it. Like, 2024, it kind of sucks. And I don't know. I found a lot of joy in it myself. But
yeah, we've done well, I feel, to find the good things. Because if you just have to look, a bit harder than normal to find it this year. And that's what we had to do. And Nintendo's given us some really unique things to play this year. And, they've got such a rich history backlog of franchises that they've been able to sort of crack open and get everyone to experience. And so that's been really cool. I've had some really great moments sort of checking out series that I've heard cool things about and finally getting the chance to do that. It's been awesome. In saying that, definitely a quieter year. I looked at my year in review this year. Very, very quiet compared to last year.
Oh, interesting. I was thinking about that. Yeah. We should bring it up. Do you have it handy?
I did have it. I can eventually get it up. I can share my screen, maybe. I don't know. That might be a good way to do it.
Yeah, you can do that if you like. I've just got mine on my phone. I've just got like a screenshot from when I posted it on socials a couple of days ago. But it was actually kind of interesting. I was actually kind of shocked to see how much I played on Switch. And I've got like the year in review for all of my platforms. And I really did think it was like a pretty quiet year for Switch for me. And I thought that like my PlayStation 5 time kind of eclipsed my Switch. But it actually wasn't the case. I ended up playing 124 hours on Switch, a total of 33 games. My favorite game for the year was the Super Nintendo Online app. I played a bunch of that at the start of the year, so I played through the Donkey Kong games and some other things. So that must have been a while. But number 2 is Emio the Smiling Man, which is probably actually my favorite Switch game, especially first party release from Nintendo this year. It's definitely up there. And number 3 on here is actually Endless Ocean Luminous, which was interesting as well. I didn't put like a whole lot of time into it. I played it like for 8 or 9 hours, I think, and a lot of that time was with you. Um,
Mm.
so yeah, I'm not sure how that made it there. Like Mario vs Donkey Kong and things like that. I feel like I played that for a similar time. I played that through the campaign and finished a few games like that. So I was a little bit surprised to see that. But
Interesting.
yeah, but that's my time. But yeah, like I said with the PlayStation 5, I felt like I spent a lot more time on that. But the hours played on PlayStation 5 was 133. So it was only like 10 hours more than Switch this year, as far as that
It's
goes.
pretty similar.
Yeah. And yeah, my top months, it was May and July, about 30 hours each. And the rest of the year was like kind of basically under 10 hours for each one. So had a couple of months there where I was playing Switch, and the rest I kind of wasn't really, which was
Yeah,
interesting.
pretty quiet.
Just before we jump to yours too, I just want to sort of point out that I was actually kind of shocked for my Xbox year in review too, because my total time on my Xbox Series X this year was 78 hours. You know, that's not as much as my PlayStation and my Switch, but I haven't touched my Xbox literally since maybe March. So like most of my time was like in the first quarter, I was smashing the Xbox just with Game Pass.
Yeah.
With both Hellblade games, I was playing the Crew Motorfest on the Ubisoft Plus subscription, which I loved. Both Coffee
Mm.
Talk games. Yeah, I played a lot on Xbox at the start of
Prince
the
of
year,
Persia?
and
Did you play that on Xbox?
oh
With Game
yeah, yep,
Pass?
I played Prince of Persia on Xbox as well through the
Still getting 30
Ubisoft
hours.
subscription. So
Yep.
yeah, I played. Yeah, when I looked at them, I'm like, wow, I actually played a fair bit, and it was all at the start of the year. And yeah, throughout the year, I think my Xbox sort of enthusiasm went down just through all of the decisions that was sort of coming out of Xbox this year. They kind of threw in the towel as far as like them wanting to be a platform goes, which kind of makes sense, but it doesn't make me excited to turn on my Xbox, and I haven't. So, um, yeah, we'll see if I get back into it. But yeah, across like the major platforms, I guess I spent like probably like 300, close to 400 hours. I'm not sure how much I spent on Steam this year. Spent way more time on Steam than I have in the past. I've got 21 new games. It doesn't tell you how long you put into Steam on the wrap up, unfortunately, but
Mm.
yeah. So yeah, had a great year as far as those little wrap ups go, and
Yeah.
I set up at the start of the year that I wanted to beat 50 games, and I completed that. I'm at 51 at the moment, and probably try and do it again next year. I'll probably try and think about what I did this year, whether I can add something else to it, like whether I want it to be like, all right, I want at least 10 to be JRPGs, longer games, or stuff like that. I'll see if I can come up with something else,
Yeah.
because it really
I'd
did
like to
motivate me, and I really did enjoy it. So yeah, I'm happy to try that again.
Yeah, because I think, yeah, the way you've sort of got the goal is that, yeah, you're more inclined to play smaller games, aren't you? Because that will mean that counts towards
Yeah, that's right. That
like, towards
dopamine
the
hit
tally.
comes a bit quicker.
Yeah, so if you structure it in a way that, you have to, it has to be, yeah, like you said, 5 RPGs or something, then that means you could, theoretically space it out in a way that you're playing those longer games and makes it work for you.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
what you're after, though, of course.
Yeah, I have a little bit of think. I've got a little bit of time for my New Year's resolutions to be sorted out, and see how we go from there. But yeah, how's your year in review when you look back?
Yes. So, let me share my screen. It was pretty good in the end. And yeah, like you said, we all thought Switch 2 was coming out, and that didn't happen. But still managed to find some fun. So I think that's come up now. Let's have a look.
What we got here?
So F-Zero. I played a lot of F-Zero 99 this year. That's not new, though. I think I had 264. Yep. So this goes from
Wow.
January to November, 264 hours. I had 600 and something last year, I think. So
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
obviously a lot less. And then 79 games, that's me opening them at one stage. So that's a lot.
Mm.
I feel
Yeah,
that's a lot.
that's a good amount. Yeah.
Yep. Didn't play
Yeah.
a lot of them for too long, though. But these are the ones I played the most. Paper Mario, Thousand Year Door, Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown, and then Splatoon 3 Side Order DLC would have taken up my Splatoon time there. So some pretty good games in the end for those. Happy with that. think I always get action adventure at the top. I don't know. I feel that's such a broad genre that it captures most games. I would have thought you'd be the same with
Yeah,
your
I did
splits.
have it. I did have it up there. Yeah, I think mine was action, adventure, and then party by look at the colors, and then shooting.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't know
No
what.
role playing.
Yeah, well, I don't think I played much role playing games on Switch. I played them everywhere else actually, for
Yep.
whatever reason.
Yep.
Just worked out to
I
be
mean,
that way. But
it's not like there was two massive Mario RPGs this year or anything to sink your teeth into, but that's fine.
yeah, well, I barely touched them to be honest.
Yeah, that's right.
So yeah,
Yep. So I played the most in January. That was when Prince of Persia was out, and then another Code. So that definitely checks out. I don't know. I had a pretty busy first half of the year, and then oops, why is that doing that? August to December's or November's pretty quiet. Looking at
yeah,
that.
yeah. I was pretty heavy at the start of the year as well because, especially like Chantel was pregnant at the start of the year, so there was a lot of
Waiting
know,
around.
yeah, waiting around basically, with the Switch in your hand and all of that. Lucas was a little bit younger. I honestly can't remember, but he could have honestly been easier to look after back then as well. Especially, yeah. So it'd be interesting to see whether I get much time at the start of the year with some time off and work being a bit quieter. See if I can get some gaming time in, or now the two kids are here, it's just all fucked. That side of my life's gone, But
Yes. Yes, a whole different world for you now.
My biggest problem is just this time of year. We finish work now, we're on break, but the biggest thing for me is just getting home and once the kids are in bed, that's my gaming time. But just with such a physical job, I have nothing left in the tank, so I'm just straight into bed. So if I
It was
can
so
get
tough for you.
if I can get my energy back in that regard, then I'm sitting good. But yeah, that's where it's been tricky the last couple of months. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting into some stuff over the break, and I started a couple of games on Switch, which I'm hoping to stay with. But honestly, Josh, all I want to play is Pokemon Emerald Sea Glass on my Analog Pocket, which I talked about last week. I wrapped it up, finished it, and I might even complete the Pokedex tonight. See how we go. But yeah, I'm going for the full Pokedex. I'm going to try and do the Battle Frontier, train up an awesome team. I'm having so much fun with it. I don't really want to put it down, so we'll see if I get back to
Hell yeah.
1000X Resist. I started that game the other day, yesterday, and
Yeah, nice.
man, the start of it makes no sense. Lot to sort of wrap your head around. I'm sure it's pretty cool, but I've got no context for anything. But I've heard nothing but good things about it. Seth over at All N talks about it all the time. Luke in the Discord, he's putting the pressure on, which I appreciate. I
He
need
has
the
been.
pressure.
He's been big on it.
Yeah, so yeah, that's a game that I really want done by the end of this year, by New Year's Eve or whenever. It's about a 10-hour game, I believe, so it can be done. But
Yeah, well, definitely.
yeah. So yeah, anything else you'd like to say about your wrap up?
Yeah, my PlayStation 1, I had a lot of Hollow Knight and then Astrobot. So they were the ones I played a fair bit of on PlayStation, but that was really about it.
Nice.
Some smaller adventures outside of that, but yeah.
So looking towards next year, do you have any sort of things that you like, whether it's a specific game or maybe a series, or maybe you want to jump more into some games on your PlayStation specifically or whatever have you? Is there like something you want to sort of target next year as far as like your gaming goes? Because I know for me, obviously when Switch 2 gets here, it's going to be like, that's going to be the new hotness. We've been waiting for it for years. That's what we're going to be playing. Whether releases at launch, all of that. But in the sort of early few months where we don't know anything about it and we're sort of sat back, there are some series I want to get to. I actually really want to play through the God of War series. Now, I've had the 2018 game in my backlog forever, but I actually want to go back. I want to play God of War 1 and 2, the PSP games before I get to those and play through them. I picked up Ragnarok on the Black Friday sale for like $50. So yeah, I'd like to get to those, whether I will or not, I don't know. And as far as like these Pokemon ROM hacks go, I'm really, really enjoying my time. So I'll probably pick up a few more physical ones and keep playing through them in the background. But yeah, there's just so many games I want to play, and I just got to pick the right one for my emotions at the time.
Yeah, well, smart way to do it. That's for sure. It depends. Because I know Metroid's coming next year. And I want to play Metroid Prime 4. I want to play the second and third games beforehand. So if Nintendo don't give it to me on the Switch, I'm gonna have to find a way to do it. I have the games, so whether I play them on the original hardware, well, that'll be the only option really, because I'll either play Echoes either on my GameCube, or if I bought the Metroid Prime trilogy, play them all on the Wii U maybe, because that's backwards compatible with the Wii. That's one thing I'd like to do. So it's going to be tough though, because when the Switch comes out, the Switch 2, it's going to be some pretty like good stuff's going to be out with it, whether it's a new new Mario or a new like Mario Kart. We just don't know yet. So I would love to get to Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I need to finish that game. I know X comes out in March. You know, there's maybe some quiet time in Feb. I'm getting married then, though, so not really.
It's not quiet time then.
No, not quiet time. So not sure how that's going to work, whether I will really have time for that. I'll have to wait and see. I gotten through a lot of the classic games I really wanted to get through, but there's still maybe a couple more in between. But I think I felt this year was the year to do that, and I did that with Hollow Knight. Played a lot of that. And then I just didn't get around to Xenoblade Chronicles 3, so I'm kind of pushing that one over to the next year now. So I just know next year's going to be very different, a lot more going on. We've got a new Legends Arceus game, or Legends game in Pokemon coming sometime as well. It'll be a pretty massive year. So maybe early on, try and get to Xenoblade Chronicles 3, but outside of that, I still need to finish Echoes. I still need to finish Mario and Luigi. So
me too.
Plenty going on.
Yeah, you bring up Pokemon Legends. I really hope Game Freak come through and just do a good job, because my Pokemon hype's like up here, because I'm playing it every day again. I'm like playing through like Emerald Sea Glass, which last week I said I think it's like the best Pokemon game I've played in 10 years. Like I'm having so much fun with it. And then I'm opening like the 3 packs a day on the Pokemon TCG Pocket. I'm having a lot of fun with that. Brand new expansion as well. I don't know if you've gotten into that much.
Yeah. Straight away.
Yeah.
I've got most of the cards already, like 61 of the 68 common ones, and then got a few of the new ones or the rarer ones already. Got like a spreadsheet to track him. Someone's made a really cool like Google spreadsheet with macros, and you can tick off the cards you've got and ones that are missing, which specific like Pikachu, Charizard, or Mewtwo boosters you got to go through to get those cards, things like that. So I'm pretty well all over it with the TCG Pocket. It's been good fun.
Yeah, nice. I don't think I've missed a day. Like I've been on every day since launch, and I have spent money on it too. I don't know if you have. I've
no, not yet.
Have you? I've put like $60 into it. Got to admit, every now and again I'm just like, I want to open 10 packs, so I do. There goes to $15. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. That's right.
Yep. Yeah. So yeah, I got the Celebi immersive card the other day.
Ooh, nice. So there's only one immersive in this mythical island, isn't there? And it's just that one.
So I was very happy to pull that one.
Yeah, nice work.
Yeah. So yeah, my Pokemon hype's like it's up again. I'm glad it's where it should be.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hope the new one makes me happy to hand over the cash and play it and enjoy myself and move on with my life and not have to whinge about it on my silly little podcast. For goodness sakes. But yeah,
I'm hoping it's good. I think the first one was great, and I think they'll just build on it. That's my big hope anyway.
I mean, I love the first Legends Arceus. Obviously, but there's a lot of things you can critique about it. But yeah, I just loved being in the world, throwing pokeballs, catching things, hunting shinies, finding alphas. Yeah, had a lot of fun. So hopefully they build
Yep.
upon that. It's going to be awesome.
Be awesome. That's all right.
But yeah, no, there's a lot of things to look forward to next year, especially on like the Nintendo side. A lot of it's a mystery at the moment, but you know, something will happen next year.
It's
Something
100
will
days,
happen.
under 100 days now, Drew, before the Switch 2 announcement happens.
Yeah,
So pretty
Before
soon. We're going to know very soon.
before the cutoff, they're like, all right, we've got to talk about it.
Imagine if they wait till the last day of March. Can you imagine? Making us wait to the very, very
Yeah,
end.
I could imagine. Yeah. uh, I just imagine at Nintendo at the moment, like that they're knocking off for Christmas and that, and they're going to come back, and I dare say it's going to be all systems go. Like the week they come back from like their Christmas New Year's break, like the marketing team, everything is going to be like they're going to have their heads down, busy working. I dare say, trying to figure out exactly what's going on. I wonder how organized they are.
A lot of work.
I hope they're
A lot
ready
of work
just to,
preparing.
just to light the fireworks and it's all ready to go. That'd be good. But
Yeah, I'd love for it to be January. Love for it to be January, the reveal. But we just don't know, do we? We just don't know. And then Feb's quiet. There's no game announcements, no Donkey Kong or Xenoblade Chronicles X coming out that month. Don't know if that dictates any reason to have it in that month. But yeah, I'm very much expecting early in the next 3 months we have available as an option. I'm thinking January or February for sure.
the other thing about January, I just imagine like some kid getting a Switch for Christmas and like the mum, buys it, whatever, 400 and whatever bucks, like pretty expensive little gift. And then like, oh, they just come out Switch 2 a bit. It's a little bit shit to do it that soon after Christmas.
Maybe a
When
little.
do you do it? Like
Yeah.
how much thought do these companies put into it? Like,
That is something Nintendo would probably consider. That probably would be something.
yeah, because you can't
yeah.
tell them before Christmas. Otherwise, it's just like, well, I'm not going to fucking buy it now. I'll
Buy
buy
Switch.
the new
That's
one
right.
afterwards, and you'll miss out on the
That's
holiday
right.
sale. But then you get those holiday sales, you piss them all off. Then they never buy your system because they think you're just releasing stuff over and over. It's funny because I remember like one of my uncles, he was like, "Oh look, I can't keep up with these bloody video game consoles." I'm like, "Fuck man, they come out like every 6 years, like." Bloody like two come out and like your kid's grown up and it's out of high school by the time you've had two of them. I don't know how quickly they're coming out. Maybe if you're looking at graphic cards or something like that, but Christ. You go
I
from
just- Yeah.
the NES to the Nintendo 64, like, you've got like a teenager there by the time they've had those three.
They're so infrequent these days as well. Like you said, it's
Yeah.
going for 10 years now. Some of them.
Yeah, I feel like
on
the
track
Switch.
to anyway.
I feel like the Switch went too long. Honestly, I love the Switch. I love the library it's accumulated because of the amount of time it's been out. But Christ Almighty, it's just
But by
Yeah,
how
no.
much? You reckon this year was the year?
oh yeah, definitely this year. Like this year, I think just general like people that are into games but not like super hardcore. I feel like a lot of just the games out there just aren't on Switch, which is a big problem. A lot of the third party games just aren't on it. So I feel like a bit of a revision would have been good for that. But it is hard to complain about it when Nintendo has supported it so well over the last few years. So it is kind of hard to complain about it. But at the same time, I've kind of lost my enthusiasm to play on it just because it was so behind everything else that was out at the time. And that's what worries me a little bit about Switch too. It's just gonna be like, oh well, the first couple of years you'll get games, but year 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, it's like, then it's just Nintendo games again. That's what worries me a little bit. But we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, we've heard the talk, haven't we? That they wanted to be more working collaboratively with developers. So I'm just hoping that
Yeah.
that means the funnel and the path, of games coming, not just this year but next year and then beyond, is going to be fairly good.
Yeah.
I'm hoping, because I think they're really cognizant of that. So, they've made those mistakes from the Wii to the Wii U, from the DS to the 3DS. They really don't want to make that mistake this time, and I think for that reason we've had to wait a bit longer this time around. Yeah, I've never really had an issue with the delay until I don't know, the last couple of months. I'm really like, it would have been great to get like a November Switch 2 release. That would have been really, I don't know, just really would have capped off the year. And I've definitely felt the slowing down in terms of people playing their Switch. And I think without the numbers on our show, I think are definitely like down compared to like mine have been anyway. I feel like the interest is died off a little, like not huge amounts, but I can tell, I can feel it's like people are ready. Their attention's elsewhere. With stuff on PlayStation a bit more, things that are coming out. So yeah, it's that time. It's that time. We know it's coming soon. Well, big Nintendo fans know. Furukawa said end of March is the announcement of what it's going to be called and what it's going to look like, and we've seen all the mock-ups that seem to all align, look like it might be real, but we don't know for sure. We just need to know now, and I'm really hoping at least mid next year, not late now. Don't want to wait pretty much a full another year now for the thing.
It'd be interesting when it comes,
Will be.
but until then, we'll just have to keep complaining.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It's funny because like I try not to talk about it, but it's just so on the tip of my tongue. I'm so excited for it. Like I really do want it, and I think what's even more exciting is just like the Nintendo first party machine will be kicking up again. We'll see like Mario Kart. We'll start the cycle again for all of these franchises that have like one per console, where it is like, oh, I wonder what the next Smash Brothers is going to be. Like it's just like all of this thing, and yeah, there are a few franchises where like I don't need another one. Like Switch kind of nailed it. Like with Smash Brothers especially, I'm kind of like, well, there's a few things I'd like to see added to it, but I don't need a whole new one. I'm not going from Wii to Wii U where I just want to see it in HD and beautiful and all this, and then to Wii U the Switch where I want the Wii U version but better in my hands, in my pocket, wherever I want to go. And we've sort of reached this point with some franchises where I'm like, I'm content, but show me something amazing and I'll be there, I dare say. And even if it's just a normal port, I'll probably be there anyway. I don't know. A bit of a sucker when it comes to some of these games. But
aren't we all?
Aren't we all?
Listening to this probably the same.
Yeah, that's where we are. But yeah, it's exciting stuff. We're very excited.
Yes, and becoming very soon.
Yeah, very soon. Have your money ready. Yeah, do you have your pennies ready?
I've had a saver ready for. I've been saving for over a year now. I reckon I've just had like contributed like $20 every fortnight or something, $10 a week.
Nice, man. Yeah,
so a bit of $500. It's ready to go. So I'll have the money when it's out and the pre-orders are ready to go.
Yeah, you'll think you're sitting pretty, and then the price will be revealed like $5,000. You're like, fuck, all right, up at the $50.
What it costs
$50 a day from your wages
for an OLED. So I'm kind of wanting to save up to 700. I don't think it will cost 700, but it might be 600 and something. So
yeah, it's going to be six something here in Australia
for sure. So my goal is 700. So I'll get to that, and then I thought, well, there'll be games as well. So added another $100.
Yeah, games, second controller, so you can play with Michaela, a case, maybe a screen protector.
That's right.
Maybe a grip or something. Yeah, like,
So
I remember I spent a lot at the Switch launch. Yeah, fair bit.
What did you get? Because you would have got the Switch, carry case, Pro controller, Breath of the Wild.
Yep. Yeah. So yeah, got the Breath of the Wild Collector's Edition that came with like the Master Sword statue. So I got that. That was like $300 and something just by itself, or 270, I think, just off the mind. So yeah, the Switch, a second pair of Joy-Cons, a Pro controller, case. I think there was like Breath of the Wild Amiibo. I think they released the same day. I think I picked them up. And then I bought like a few digital games as well. I got my gift card from EB Games. I remember putting that in. Don't know. That might have been it, but that's a fair bit That's a fair bit right there. That adds up quick.
Yeah, I'm just doing a rough sums. 469 for the game, for the console. 270 in the collector's edition.
Yeah, it would have been like
Yep.
$1,000 or $900 or
Yeah, it
eleven
was
hundred
around that.
bucks or
Yeah,
something
something
in
like
that ballpark.
that. Yep. You wouldn't be the only one. Would not have
Mm.
been the only one.
I actually spent a little bit of money on game consoles this week. Speaking of spending money on handhelds, yesterday I ordered. I don't know if you're familiar with them. I think we actually talked. I touched on these last week, but there's a company called Ambinic that make like a bunch of retro handhelds, pretty cheap ones, that are
Yes.
just like designed and made in China. And they made one which is like, it looks like a Game Boy Advance SP, but it's a little bit thicker, a little bit, a little bit different. It's got 4 buttons instead of just like the two buttons and stuff like that. So I bought one of them, and then they did one of the original Game Boy Advance as well. So I picked one of them
you
up
had
as
to.
well. So
Yep.
yeah, I've got both of those models. They're just so nostalgic for me. So I'm like, got to have one. They're fun to
Gotta
tinker
do it.
around with. You can put custom firmware and do a bunch of stuff with it. So I got them coming. So yeah, I've got a problem when it comes to handhelds. For a long time, Josh, I only had the Switch. Like PlayStation, they pulled the plug. They said, look, after PlayStation Vita, we're out. And Nintendo just had it to himself for years and years. And then like all of a sudden, I'm just like, with the Analog Pocket, Steam Deck, Asus ROG Ally, these Ambinic products. I was looking at the Retroid Pocket 5 as well, which looks really cool. It looks a little bit like a Switch Lite, but it runs on Android,
Mm.
and you can obviously put a bunch of ROMs and Android games and things like that on. It looks really cool. That's a little bit more expensive though, so that common sense prevailed with that one. That wasn't just like a $70 throwaway purchase. That's closer to three. Well, that's about $350 by the time it gets shipped here. So I'm like, well, that's like a Switch price at that point.
Yep. Yeah.
But yeah,
Now you got heaps now, don't you? Yeah. I mean, it's just the craze. So Nintendo started something, and all these companies have followed suit, and we're at that stage now where even Sony and Microsoft are like, "Oh shit, we need to get back into this," or Xbox, we need to get into this so properly. So yeah, they started a good thing.
I look forward to when they do as well. I've been wanting Xbox to make their own consoleized handheld for a while, and don't know. By the time they do it,
Everything's an Xbox.
everything is an Xbox. I mean,
This is an
yeah.
Xbox.
What is it? A ball.
It's a ball.
Nice. That's an X ball actually. That's
Ball, sorry.
X-Ball.
Xter. Yep.
X
Yep.
Extra. Yeah.
X SD card. Yep. All of them.
Yeah. I get what they're saying. Like that everything's
I
an
get what they're
Xbox.
saying.
It's like, oh look, you can play the Game Pass games on your PC, but for the most part, if you buy like a third party game on your Xbox, you actually can't play on anything but the Xbox. Which I think they need to sort of work that out before they start really going with that marketing. Like if you want to play your library of Xbox games on your PC or your phone or something, a lot of them you can't. So, don't know. Work that out before you start lying to us all.
These excessive marketing campaigns. Yep.
Yeah.
No, fair enough.
All right, Josh. Let's jump into a top 5 games of the year. This was basically we just thought of it just before we jumped into the show. I've been keeping a tally of my favorite games all year, so I just looked it up. I don't know if you've put a list together. I don't know if you just sort of thought about them the second we said it
Well,
when we met in the lobby before we started
Yeah,
recording.
it was
What's your
Luke.
sort of your thought process behind your games?
Yeah, well, we had Luke Levendy from our your Discord mention. He posted his top games of the year, and then he did ask for us to talk about it. So I think that's where that's come from. But yeah, I literally like beforehand when we're talking about what we're going to talk about in the show, mentioned it, and yeah, I thought, well, I need to come up with a list myself. So I didn't know if I wanted to do too many games, and I know you were easy. You did yours pretty well, or you knew yours anyway. And then I tried to do a 3, and I thought, yeah, I can do 3, I can do 4. Then I didn't know if I could do 5, but then I looked through, and yes, I can definitely do 5. So I got a top 5 for me. And I think the thing for me is I just really enjoyed these games. I think
Oh, good.
And they had a profound or really cool impact on the way I perceived either the game or a franchise, or just felt things playing these games. And so these are definitely my top 5 games. Looking at them, like it's been a pretty good year. If it was just these 5 I got to play and nothing else, I thought, it'd be pretty good.
You just look at it, you're like, oh, this was what I played this year. Oh, what was I
Bring back some
thinking?
good memories.
All I did was play the Bluey game for whatever reason. Easy Platinum Trophy and what's another bad game? Don't know, Suicide Squad. That's all you played this year. So, oh no, where did the year go? I couldn't find all of the little
Concord.
newspaper clippings in the Bluey game, and I fell off of
Yeah.
that. I don't know. Jeez. I don't know what you do with that game. Got no idea.
I don't know either.
I haven't been forced to play it yet. Lucas isn't into games yet. But yeah, we may as well go from 5 to 4 and just do it, one at a time. Take it in turns. Start at number 5. Would you like to start? Or would you like me to start with our number 5?
I can go.
Go for it.
So coming in at number 5 for me is Another Code Recollection. So this
Oh.
was the very first game in January for Nintendo. And this was a really cool surprise when it first got announced. But I thought this was a great January game. And obviously is a remake of the 2 games, one on the DS and the one on the Wii. And so this was this was just a really cool chance for Nintendo to bring out a franchise that hasn't had a lot of love, a lot of attention, and I don't know, has a very small fan base that because of this now, you really feel like anything could really come back, because these games are really, had their touch generation, like the gimmicks of these consoles these games are on were like embedded in these games, from the touch controls for the first one to the sequel on the Wii, just with the motion control and some of the mini games. And so I love it so much that I got to experience this for the first time. Really enjoyed my time with it. More story-based driven stuff, which Nintendo doesn't do a lot of. And yeah, I'd love to see more of this. And because we've had the Switch is the reason that, a really successful Nintendo console is the reason we're getting games like this 8 years into the console's life cycle. So for that, I'm very thankful. And that's why that's in my top 5.
It was really cool when it first got announced. I just, when I first saw it, it just brought back memories of the box case or the box art on like DS around launch. I can't remember if it was a launch game or not. But yeah, it's like that game. Because like for me, with the DS, I had limited funds as a kid, and that wasn't the game that unfortunately didn't come across my my desk, or I didn't really have a desk as a kid. What's a good analogy as a kid? Didn't pop into my school locker.
To your lunchbox.
Into my lunchbox. Didn't open my lunchbox and see another code. So, this is a bit of a treat, and click that into the DS and go for it. But yeah, it is interesting that it got a re-release, and for 2 of the games to get sort of merged together and become like just one straight through experience. Pretty cool. I started it. I sort of barely got into it. Played a couple of hours. It didn't click with me straight away, but it was also the type of thing. It's just a time and place for me. I feel like when I'm in the mood for a bit more of a slow story based experience, might jump into it then, because I do certainly enjoy these types of games, and there are actually some of these games on my list. So, yeah, it's definitely one I'll get back to in a quieter time. But how quiet does it need to be for that quiet time to be the time for Another Code? Probably pretty quiet. Probably.
Another 2024 in terms of quiet years. I just, it was so cool. Love to see it. I think the first game is the better one in my opinion. I enjoyed the puzzle and the story in that one a bit more than the second game, which was the Wii, I think Journey into Lost Memories, that was called. But that did have Lake Juliet though, that wonderful song that always gets stuck in my head and everyone who plays it. So hats off to the second one for that.
Yeah. So yeah, it was like you said, it was cool that Switch being successful. It is good to for Nintendo to, I guess, fund these types of games, and it was quite a year, so like they're more than happy to put it out there. And I dare say they're aware that it's not going to just break records and make them a big, big amount of money. But it is important to have these types of games because it just, defines the platform in some ways. And that's something that we saw with Xbox this year, where it's just like, oh, look, Hi-Fi Rush, all of these smaller games, look, we need to make more money from them. They can go to PlayStation and Switch, but it's those types of games that really define the platform. You jump into it for Mario Kart, but you find these other games that come out as well, like, oh, Emio, well, that's a Switch exclusive. That's from Nintendo. It's like, and it kind of is up my alley because I'm into these types of story games, and yeah, it's just like a bunch of these that really define what makes Switch special. Because a lot of people will jump in for Smash, Pokemon, all of that, but it's all of these smaller games that make up the platform. So it's good that Nintendo actually make them and release them, even though, yeah, like I said, they're not going to be super successful necessarily. But I'm glad it resonated so much with you that it's in your top 5. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's your number 5?
My number 5, it's actually kind of surprising. Well, not surprising in some ways, but this was number 1 for most of the year. Then a bunch of games came out and I played them, and they got
just made the top 5.
It's only just made the top 5, yeah.
Wow.
And that game's Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown at number 5.
Hey,
and
good.
I'm not super into these Metroidvania games necessarily. Metroid and Castlevania. Josh is absolutely mad on them, loves them, and I want to get into them more. And I've enjoyed Metroid games, especially like last year. I played through Fusion and Prime 1. I enjoyed them. They were good fun, and I recognize how good a games they are, but I don't exactly find them fun. I find them a little bit stressful, a little bit like, where the fuck am I going? A little bit frustrating. And I acknowledge that maybe that's the noob inside of me that isn't, maybe it's a skill issue, all of those types of things. I'm not going to point at the game and say it's the game's fault. But when it came to Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, I feel like it gives you the options to sort of define the experience that you want. Like, do you want a little bit of help? Do you want to look at the map and it sort of says, look, you got to go to this area. It's not going to tell you where to go. The exploration is still there, and all of that. A lot of quality of life features as well when it comes to if you're not so good at the platforming, if you're not so good at the combat, you can sort of really dial in the experience you want. So after knowing that and starting the game, I wanted to be sort of pushed in the right direction. I wanted that. I didn't want a super easy experience, but I didn't want a hard experience as well, so I put it on normal. And then later on in the game, when I was actually streaming the game on Steam Deck, I couldn't do the platforming because the latency was too bad. So I was actually able to all right, I'm going to skip some of these platforming sections as well. I love platforming and I would enjoy to do them, but in between my chores and looking after the kids and all that, I couldn't really be glued to the TV. So it allowed me to actually experience the game instead of just not playing it that day. So there was a bunch of quality of life features that really, really enjoyed, and it made me enjoy the Metroidvania experience because the exploration was just so fun, going around, finding everything. It was actually probably a little bit too much to find in some ways, but hey, too much isn't too bad, especially if you're there for the experience. It's about a 20-hour game, and to 100% the game, I could only imagine it would be a fair while trying to do all those challenges, especially with the DLC challenges and stuff that they brought in. So yeah, the actual exploration part really sucked me in, and the gameplay was absolutely fantastic as well. Just how you're able to basically do combos and all of it. It sort of feels like a fighting game in some ways if you're able to chain it together and do it successfully. So yeah, just from all of those fronts, really fantastic. And it had a great story as well, and a lot of some story moments that actually blew me away. There was some set pieces that I'm like, wow, this is a really cool idea, how they use the mechanics of basically stopping time and all of this. There's probably a part in the game, Josh, that comes to mind when I say that, where you're able to stop something and just have how it looks visually on the screen. It's very impressive just as you're looking at it. So yeah, this was a game that was really, really high on my list. I loved it when I played through it, and it really captivated me the whole time. And I'm kind of sad in some ways that the Ubisoft what's the how do you pronounce their team's name again?
Montpellier.
Montpellier. Yeah, they're one of my favorite Ubisoft teams. Actually, no, not one of them. They are my favorite Ubisoft team. The team behind like the two Rayman games, Rayman Legends, Rayman Origins, Beyond Good and Evil. Like a lot of their sort of games that studio creates are the interesting games that I really love from Ubisoft. And it kind of sucks that this game underperformed enough for that team to disband. And that's heartbreaking because this game is fantastic. It's the best game that Ubisoft released this year by far, actually. I don't know if there's a competition for that necessarily. I don't know if anybody's going to stand up for
Or even
Outlaws, or
Outlaws.
don't know. I can't. I can't really.
Score wise, you're correct.
Yeah,
Give
I
it
can't say
credit.
that definitively. I didn't play Star Wars, but that's because I looked at it and I said I don't want to play that. So, but yeah, it kind of sucks that that team's gone away because this was a really special game. I played it on Ubisoft Plus, but I did make sure to pick up a physical copy on PlayStation 5 when it was on sale a fair bit. So I don't know how much that helped, but I've got a physical copy to remember my time with anyway. And it's actually that's another sort of cool thing about the game as well. Like I played it on Xbox through the subscription, but all of the Ubisoft games, you're actually able to put your cloud save to any platform that you own the game on. So I can
It's really
put
cool.
my save file to Switch, I can put it to PlayStation, Steam, whatever have you. That's a great feature, and that's something that Ubisoft do just with all their games. And I wish if every platform did that, every publisher, that'd be amazing. Kind of yeah, it's kind of unfortunate that Ubisoft's the one to do that in some ways. Like if I don't know another publisher that I play a lot of their games, Square Enix, don't know, someone like that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. That's
yeah,
right.
no,
Nintendo. Yeah, it would be cool, but yeah, no point. They've only got the one console, so
yeah, no, like cloud save, you can play it here and nowhere else. Don't you fucking dare go anywhere else.
yeah, correct.
You gonna
Correct.
play Mario Kart on that PC?
Why would you go
So
elsewhere?
what's that? You've got Mario Kart on that PC? What you've emulated 100 Switch games? Oh.
Let us just stay there a moment. We'll call our lawyers. Just don't go anywhere.
Yeah, you stay there. I'll
Yeah.
just dial the lawyer. But yeah, fantastic game, amazing, and it got me into a genre that I always thought I should like more because I love platformers, I love exploration. But yeah, some of these past series haven't really done it for me. I know that Metroid isn't really. It is like more about like the atmosphere, feeling alone, all of that. But some of these other Metroidvanias, like Prince of Persia, it's about having a team. It's about meeting NPCs, a story unfolding, and I think maybe that is why maybe the Metroidvania series or genre hasn't really clicked for me necessarily because it is about those types of themes that maybe don't jive so much with me, and that other IP taking on this genre maybe it works for me a little bit more. So and there's been another Metroidvania this year actually that just missed out to this game. I just want to give it a shout out. Tales of Kinzera Zao. That was at number 6. Same story with that game. So much fun, loved it, amazing story, going through it, and yeah, loved every moment of that game as well. So bigger Metroidvania renaissance for me this year, and
Yeah,
maybe a
love
bit
it.
of an eye opener that maybe just because Metroid's made by Nintendo, maybe it's not my favorite in the genre. So yeah. Anyway, that's me done. I know you'll probably bring up this game again. So
Thankfully, it's number 4 for me, so I can talk about it more now.
beautiful.
It's my number 4 game.
Ooh.
This was January this year, so this was alongside another code. Like what a great way to start the year. And I remember playing this at PAX 2023, getting a little bit of a demo. Like okay, it feels really good. The controls look like feel fluid and great. So I was like, this is cool. I'm really like interested to play this and see what Ubisoft have to give in terms of a Metroidvania with the Prince of Persia sort of like spin on it. And um, for like a debut Metroidvania, this is like the epitome of just how you make a Metroidvania accessible to new players. And I was just absolutely blown away with just all the features in this game and everything that you can customize. make it as easy or as hard as you want. You can time travel if platforming is not your thing in a Metroidvania. If you just want to worry about the leveling up, backtracking, things like that, and not have to do these really sometimes very hard platforming elements to get from one side to another, you can just portal your way through it. Um, and the things like taking a screenshot when you inevitably in a Metrovania get to an area and you don't know how to progress, you need to upgrade or do something later on. You can take a screenshot at the time. And then once you get an upgrade later on in the game, you can look at the screenshot like, oh, yes, that works.
Did you
Now I have the
use that
upgrade, I
feature
can
much?
go-
I actually didn't.
Didn't you?
I feel like the icons and everything sort of worked enough for me as it was, because it gave you like an icon like, hey, look, there's this type of gate here. I'm like, oh well,
Yes.
I can open that gate now because I have this power. So I didn't really need to be like making my own notes. It was a really cool feature, great idea, but I didn't feel like I needed it because they already did such a good idea or such a good job with the UI. So I didn't quite need it.
Yeah, the UI was great. I don't think it did everything though, and so that's when at times I was looking at the screenshots, and I definitely agree it could have been better. But I just don't know another series Metroidvania that's done it that way and made it so easy, and so I enjoyed it for that reason. This game's so smooth to control and move around. They did a really great job with the writing. The only thing is, it's a long Metroidvania, and so like it I played Hollow Knight later this year for the first time properly, and I got into it. And for me, it was like, okay, I'm playing these really long Metroidvanias, and I had never been used to that before. Whereas Metroid's a lot like snappier, faster. Castlevania is very similar in that regard. Whereas these two games had been, there's a lot of content to them, and so I don't know if I like my Metroidvanias long. It gives
Yeah.
a lot of bang for buck for people, but I think I prefer the more snappier, like concise offering that a Metroid or a Castlevania offers. And so that was one thing that kind of tainted it slightly for me, because I felt, oh, I'm still going here, like I feel like I've had my experience that I've wanted, but there's still a bit more, and I wanted to get to the end there. So such a small critique though, and in saying that Ubisoft Montpellier did such an amazing job, and it's such a shame that it didn't sell
They're
well
gone.
and it didn't meet any targets. The game's already on bargain bin discount prices. The developers, the studio's been disbanded. We're not going to get a sequel to this game, sadly. We've had a roadmap of DLC, and then I think that's really going to be it now. And so this will be a one and done, and that's such a very, very big shame for something that was so fun to play, so accessible. It won the Innovation in Accessibility Award at the Game Awards, and so got recognized for that. And it's if you have any sort of inkering to get into the Metroidvania series, this is a great one to start off with. Full stop. Any Metroidvania, just because it has those options and you can ease your way into it. You can play it and ramp up the difficulty if you're feeling it's a bit easy, and you go from there. So, love my time with this, and I'm going to make the most of this one game because we're not going to get a sequel, sadly.
Yeah. Yeah, what you said about length, I 100%, I probably actually agree with you as far as length goes. But I feel like this game had the quality and the variety to like warrant the length. Because
Yeah.
a lot of games don't. They just, especially if it's coming from a publisher like Ubisoft, you could see probably the pressure to be like, all right, we need to make this long to warrant the price type of thing. I feel like a lot of publishers and developers sort of fall into that trap where it's like, I don't mind paying, full price for a 10-hour experience, but make sure it's a quality one that I have fun with, and even maybe put some mechanics behind it, like with Resident Evil, for example. It's a shorter campaign, but it allows you to like run through it and do it in different ways and go for like scores and make it look a bit of replay value if you're looking for it type of thing. So I can see things like that. But yeah, I feel like Prince of Persia, it warranted it because like the story, it was well paced throughout the whole thing. It was interesting by the time we got to the end as well. It was a good payoff, really good bosses. So yeah,
Some
don't
great
get me.
power-ups, unique ones that I've never seen or like had seen in the Metroidvania before, and I was like, oh, this is cool. Like, and they nailed it first time as well. Like, so unreal game. They did such a great job.
Yeah, and I just want to remind you as well, Josh, if you got the sort of the hunger for another Metroidvania, especially with all the sales going on at the moment, check out Kinzera Zao. Check it out if it's on a good sale.
Yes.
I say that to anybody. Go and check it out. It's a lot of fun. It's 10 hours, basically 10 hours to 100% the game. To get all the collectibles. A really sort of cozy, fun game that has a great story and a really good message at the end of it too. Yeah, just a really good game. So go and check that one out if you enjoyed Prince of Persia and you haven't got around to Kinzera Zao. Really big recommendation. So go and check that one out too.
Yeah, I should.
Number 4 for me is definitely not a perfect game, but one that I really did enjoy is Life is Strange Double Exposure. And I'm a big Life is Strange fan. Whatever it was it 2014, 10 years ago, the first game? It was just
wow.
a sentimental, or just a really standout game for me. One that I really remember. Obviously, I've forgotten some parts, especially after going back after playing this game at the original game, and I kind of remember this part, and I kind of don't remember this part. But the main sort of turning events in the original Life is Strange game, were just jaw-dropping moments for me, where it made me sort of open my eyes to just some aspects of life. But not everything's black and white. That some things you can't stop, no matter how hard you try, and all this. And it was just an amazing game. And as the series went on, I actually fell off of it just because they were different characters, and I'm like, oh look, it's kind of like getting me into a whole new IP at that point. As much as I wanted to play them, I think they did the whole thing with Life is Strange 2 was that they released an episode one by one. And by the time the last episode come out, I think, just forgot about it. In all honesty, it wasn't because I wasn't interested in it. It's just because I, didn't get around to it. And I hadn't got around to a Life is Strange game since then. I did buy the last one that came out 2020. Name's escaping me. I started playing it, and then I got a big spoiler that was apparently in the trailers. But this person on the podcast just, look, it's in the trailer, and they said, I'm like, oh, well, fuck. So I just stopped playing. Look, it probably was in the trailer, but I hadn't seen any of the trailers, and it was kind of it was a death, and it was yeah. And when I heard it, I'm like, that's probably literally around the corner from where I am, because I was in a shady spot. I'm like, so I never got back to it, never played it again.
Yeah.
But after playing Double Exposure, very excited to actually go back and play the other Life is Strange games, but I missed the last, 10 years, whatever's been in between. But this game was, Max Crawford, the protagonist from the original game. She's back in this one. She's older, and it's about sort of her moving on from the events of the first game, and she's in a completely different spot with new characters. And she's got brand new powers, because in the first game she can rewind time. That's the whole sort of mechanic of that game, how you can sort of rewind time and try and fix things and make different decisions and all of that. And that's kind of fun just to experiment with that. But in this game, she can sort of swap between two worlds. There's a world where her friend Sophie dies, and there's a world where she doesn't die. And you sort of see the changes between each world as you switch between them. And it sort of, you see the narrative differ between different worlds, and eventually you sort of obviously going between them, trying to figure out why Sophie died in your world. And there I really did enjoy it, but there are some glaring just story problems, some writing issues that if I was in the room, I'd be like, that kind of doesn't make sense, or why did you do it this way? And the Life is Strange community is pretty it's pretty divisive for the Life is Strange community, as far as just what they did. A lot of people hate this game.
Okay.
They hate it because there are honestly some decisions where I'm like, look, I can't defend that. That's kind of it's kind of dumb how they did it, but I don't know. For me, it didn't really ruin it for me. I mean, it ruined it for other people, certainly. I've listened to spoiler casts and things where people are like, this sucks. But for me, yeah, it was just going back to a character that was a big part of my gaming all that time ago, and seeing how they've grown up, and I think all of the relationships that Max has in the game between a lot of the other characters, they're also just nice. She's just like a really nice character, and a lot of these other characters, even the arsehole ones, they're there's a lot of sort of charm to them, which is what this series is basically all about. Is there's some awful things going on, but at the heart of it, there's a lot of good people that are in Max's life and that are there for her, and she's there for as well. So I really enjoyed it at the end of it, and it finished in a way that had nowhere near the impact of the first game, but it ended in a way that it kind of got me excited for the future of the series. I'm looking forward to seeing what else goes on as far as the Life is Strange series goes, and I'm here for it. And honestly, there's a song from this game which is my most played on Apple Music as well, because it ends in a song that I'm like, it really actually hammered home just the emotion of how the game ended for me. And once I finished that game, literally the week afterwards, I think I listened to nothing but that song, and I just felt that emotion like in my chest, and I think that really sort of bolstered my opinion of this game as well. Just with how it left me feeling at the end. Like I said, nowhere near the sort of impact of the first game, but I was really sort of happy when I finished it. So absolutely loved it. Really great story and narrative, but some glaring problems, which are going to frustrate some people, especially if you're a big fan. But especially if you're not a fan, you've got to go back and play the other games. This game's going to make no sense jumping straight into this one. But yeah, there's some things where it's just like, man, I mean, you guys write for a living. You got to sort of, I don't know how you looked over that one. Was that one between like writing shifts with two different people, and that's the pass off got a little bit messed up in between? It's just like, there's some bits there. It's
Stuff
like,
they shouldn't be doing. Should be 101.
They're like,
stuff that gets avoided.
It's baffling. It really is. But yeah, like I said, great game. Really enjoyed it. So it's my number 4.
Nice. I'm glad you enjoyed it, because I do recall you talking about your excitement for it, and it was coming up, and good to see that's made it into your top 5 at number 4. It's on the Switch as well, isn't it? It's not just a...
it got delayed from Switch, and then I believe they just randomly said, "Oh, it's out now on Switch." Like, then it came out on Switch.
Okay.
Got no idea about performance or anything like that.
Yeah.
Got no idea. I played it on PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
But yeah, don't know. I hope it runs well on Switch. It's a relatively pretty game, so I got no idea what it looks like on Switch.
Hopefully good, because and we're going to talk about the other game that's a bit more of a visual kind of novel, kind of mystery novel game. So there's been a bit of a theme with that this year. So
definitely, yeah.
I'm more interested in these types of games.
Yeah. So what's your number 3, Josh?
Yeah, so this one is Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door, the remake of the 2004 game on the GameCube. We finally got our chance to play it on the Switch, and it was a game I had played a little bit of on the GameCube. I owned it, but never properly finished it and experienced the full story. So this is my chance to do that, and it was very easy and fun to do, and I can see now very much why people regard this one as the best in the series. We've had, Paper Mario come out this year. We've had Mario and Luigi this year as well, and then Super Mario RPG last year. A bunch of RPGs, and after playing all 3, I just really have been sort of, reinforced. Like, I do love the Paper Mario series the best, just for the humor, the writing, and when they get the gameplay battling mechanics down packed correctly and right. These games are really hard to put down, super enjoyable. I just enjoyed everything about this game pretty much. Just an absolute joy to play, go through for the first time properly, and yeah, just love to see that we get to experience this game in a new way for people everywhere to enjoy. Had some pretty simple quality of life improvements, nothing too over the top because it probably didn't really need it. But like some time travel, like some ease to get around a bit easily on the map. Some other different minor things, but it wasn't nothing major. But it didn't need it. It's a great game. Definitely understand why it's the best in the series. Yeah, I just really wish Nintendo in their next one made something a lot more similar to this. Origami King was on the way, but not quite like this.
I wonder if they will. Like, if they will go back to the RPG, because it kind of seemed like they wanted Mario and Luigi to be the RPG. They wanted Paper Mario to be the experimental stuff, experimenting with like stickers and different battle mechanics, basically like going away from the level up, traditional RPG stuff. But it's all been thrown up in the air the last year because of like, here's Mario RPG, here's Thousand Year Door remake, and here's a brand new Mario and Luigi game, all in the same year. So it's like, obviously they don't care that much about sort of trying to, make all these different Mario series unique necessarily.
No,
obviously they
not really spread them out either.
Yeah, so it's like, well, maybe they don't care about that. And if that case, maybe the next Paper Mario will be an RPG with a leveling up system and all of that, and just continue on from Thousand Year Door like nothing happened. Like they just do a remake, and the next one is the same thing but with a different story and different different characters.
That'd be great. They've been on record saying, they want to do something unique or different with each entry. So that's always why we've had these varying degrees of gameplay with the series, which I think, a lot of fans, myself included, find that a little frustrating, because Nintendo hasn't always done that, reinvented the wheel with their series. Most sometimes doing more of the same, which is all that we want. It's interesting. I hope it sold well enough for them and their expectations. This is late in the Switch's life, and a remake. They marketed it. They didn't call it HD or remake or remaster or anything like that. It's just Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door, which makes it hard to talk about and distinguish between this one and the one from 20 years ago. But obviously want to see more. Love this series. So funny, so witty. I love all the characters in this. This was before Nintendo really reeled it in terms of you can't modify the characters too much. This was when they could go absolutely ham with it, and we get some great moments as a result of it.
Yeah, I hope they go back to that where it's just like, just give them the freedom, because we're not going to see like some wacky version of a Bob-omb or something in this game. But can I jump on that in Mario Wonder, please? Like, we understand that these are their own series and their own worlds, but the 3D Mario games, they're a little bit more, I guess traditional Mario instead of like the wacky, like crazy bosses that they could come up with for an RPG. Because I think it's pretty important to have like the enemy diversity, just really played with when it comes to the RPGs, especially when it comes to like enemies and bosses and things like that. If you're just going against normal Koopas and Bob-ombs and all of this, that's when it gets a little bit more boring, especially when they're trying to play into the mechanics of, whether like you can jump on their head or you need to use the hammer or what items you need to use to be able to pull off some of these, or just damage and things like that. So I'm glad you enjoyed it, because for me, I was really looking forward to the game, but by the time the game came out, I wasn't feeling it. I think it came out in April. I remember really looking forward to Paper Mario and Stellar Blade, and April I didn't play any of those games. There must have been something going on, Josh. I can't remember April.
This is May, late May. This came out. We had Endless Ocean early on in May, and then this is late May, I believe.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because I think Stellar Blade was late April. Then so don't know. Maybe I was suffering from depression at this point. Maybe I was busy at work, or maybe I was just playing another game. Could have been all three, Josh.
Maybe all three. Yeah. We won't know for sure. Only you really know that one.
Well, I don't actually. I'm trying to work it out. I'm trying to remember. I really can't. But Yeah, no, I'm glad it's on your list.
Yes,
Look. I've
really
been
enjoyed
meaning
it.
to play the Thousand Year Door. I don't know, since I've been a gamer. Like it's
Mm.
always been one of the games. Oh, I want to play that GameCube game because I barely, I've missed a lot of GameCube games, and this year was a perfect opportunity to jump into it and finally knock it off the backlog. Especially, looking nice in HD, remade and all that. And I missed my opportunity, so it's just on the 20-year backlog still, Josh. It's just still there. I'm no
Be a
different to I
thousand
was
years
last
literally
year.
before you do it.
So, yeah, don't know. I'll get to it one day.
One day.
Backwards compatibility on Nintendo Switch 2, Josh. There's no
That will help,
worries,
man.
mate.
That will help. Yep.
I'm going to be playing on that 8-inch screen, mate. Buddy, look, who's the sucker now? I've got this big, beautiful screen I'm playing on.
Right.
1080p,
Where you go.
OLED, 3D, maybe 4D. Might spray some air at you. Like, it's going to be crazy, the Switch 2. It's going to be nuts. Look, you might fall
Good
into
only-
the screen actually. Like, oh, look, I'm in the paper world, and I'm so scared, and I piss myself, and like the diorama goes all soggy, and like, oh, this is crazy. Like, just gaming's gonna be nuts next year, Josh. You're gonna
Absolutely unreal.
gonna be
Everything
crazy.
Nintendo made us think we wanted, we're going to have next year, and we can't wait. We're going to love it. We're going to eat that shit
Look,
up.
Farrakhan was gonna come out. It's like Willy Wonka and be like, if you can imagine it, you can have it. Well, crazy, man. Crazy.
Nintendo Switch Wii U 2. Here we go.
Yeah, here we go. Yeah, but what I want is to go into the Paper Mario world and just soil everything. There's a big boss, just do a whiz on it. Gone, easy. So
Big
yeah,
paper
I
cut,
guess in some ways I'm taking the easy route and just playing it on Switch too, where that's going to be a possibility. But
That's right.
yeah, Paper Mario, eh?
Paper
Nice.
Mario. Is it in your list at all?
It is not in my list. Like I said, I didn't really play it. And yeah, by the way, this list that I've come up with, these are all games that I actually finished. Like, I don't know if I would have put anything that I hadn't finished in my list, but
Yeah.
if there was something I really enjoyed and I didn't finish it, well, it can't be in the list. It's illegal. It's not allowed. But I guess moving on to my number 3 is a game that I didn't know about until I found it on Steam, and that game is called Farewell North. And I found this game just browsing Steam, and just the screenshots just drew me in straight away. I knew I had to play it. It's a game where you play as a border collie, and it's a game about basically moving on. You play as the border collie, and you've got your owner, your human companion, who's like a young girl, and her mother just died, and she's going back to the islands on in the Scottish Highlands, back to her I guess childhood home where she grew up, and she's going back to pay respects to her mum. And as you're going along, this girl, she's talking to you, the story's unfolding, and the game's basically about bringing back, I guess, color to the land in some ways. Like, there's some like sections where you've got to do some tasks, and then like a lot of the black and white sort of fills out to color, and that's when it's really beautiful. It's a little bit of a shame that some of these areas, when you first get to them, they are black and white, because the game is pretty stunning, especially for like an indie game. It's made by one person and then like a team of like a few contractors who they hire. But yeah, just a
It's very
really
beautiful from the looks of it.
just a really beautiful game. Like, it's the graphics are quite basic, but what they did with the art style and the colors and all of that, they've done a fantastic job. And especially just because of like in Scotland, just how unique that land looks as well. Like, you don't really see it in anything else. Like AAA games, you're not really seeing this type of this landscape. But it is the story that ultimately draws you through. This is more of like a narrative experience, and I knew the game was going to be sad, obviously, because of the premise I just mentioned. It is like talking about like she's talking about like the memories of her mum and all of this, the good times, the bad times, all of this. Like, it's just like recapping her life and her experience with her, and it. I assumed it was going to end up in a sad spot, but the game does the game does take it to another place actually, where I'm like, holy shit, I was in bed playing my Steam Deck next to Chantel, and I was just sobbing, man. When this
Really?
game wrapped
Yeah.
up, it wrapped up in a beautiful place. I couldn't believe what they did with the story. It was a very special game, and I hope more people will play it, because it was just a really beautiful experience. It's like I played a couple of games, narrative games this year, where I play as a cat, but it was really nice to play as a dog. You know, I don't know
Yeah.
why dogs don't get the amount of attention cats do when it comes to the indie game scene. But for Christ's sakes, this was the best goddamn dog game I've ever played in my life. It made me cry like a 30-year-old man, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
But what's cool about it as well, like it is like in some ways a linear narrative game, but there are some parts where like you've got to kayak to the next location, and yeah, it actually becomes a little like a kind of an open world game. You can go to like different isles where like there are like side quests to do that tell you more story, where you interact with the locals and they tell you about like, you know, times they had with your mum and all of this type of thing, and like memories they had together, and seem like a pretty tight knit community, and they all know you and like the lady that is your companion throughout the game, and yeah, so you can spend more time with it and get more of the story and all of that. And I guess if you're going for like, you know, achievements and things like that, that's a good way to sort of fill that out. But yeah, I highly recommend this game. I can't talk much about the story because that's why you want to play it. But a really great indie game to go and play. I think it took me like 8 hours to beat. And that's doing like a few of those side quests and things like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely recommend. This is the one game on my top 5. No. Prince of Persia's on Switch. Yeah. Apart from Prince of Persia and this game, nothing else is on Switch. But this game's on Steam, Xbox, and Switch. From memory, when I was looking at the platforms, I don't know, 6 months ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, highly recommended. And it's a game nobody's really talking about. Like a lot of these other games on my list, like you know about them, you've heard about them. But this is a game that I really want to champion because it's a very special game. And if you enjoy stories, you like dogs, you want to see a different landscape, you like a really nice art style. Yeah, easy recommendation. Pick it up if it's on sale with the Boxing Day sales and things like that at the moment. Easy peasy recommendation.
Yeah, I think I just checked 20% off on Steam at the moment. But yeah, you're right. I haven't heard anyone else talk about this game other than you on the show here. So yeah, it sound like you obviously really enjoyed it, and I think it's beautiful, like seeing those moments and sort of you sort of get surprised by a gaming experience, and that's great that you just stumbled upon it, and then you not stumbling upon it would have resulted in you not experiencing it, and not having that really great emotional moment, which I think some of these games can really sort of capture and make you have, which I think is a really great thing. So
yeah, I was just sat on the couch and I remember just being on Steam, but like that game looks pretty. You're playing as a border collie. I'm like, oh my god! So I go into it, and like it literally came out like then. Like it was like right when it came out.
Yeah.
Like the start of the day it came out. Oh, it's out now. So I just
day one.
So I just bought it, and I didn't really know what it was apart from like the screenshots. And I just want to say as well, like the music is phenomenal. Like how everything, when like things in the story happen, like the music swells and it just sounds absolutely amazing. And even like the quiet moments as well when you're kayaking, just nails atmosphere. It's really great. I will say the controls of the kayak, absolutely awful. But you got to go into the options and just change the controls, and it just becomes like, just use the stick to go forward. Otherwise, you got to like use the trigger buttons to use the oar on each side, and it's very cumbersome. I'm like, no, we can't do this. So straight into the options, and you can just change it. So you just use the stick and you just steer it with the stick, and that's it. But if it didn't have that, holy shit, I'd be still trying to kayak around that ocean, I reckon. But yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all I got to say about that one.
No, very good tip. Fair enough. It's my turn now.
It's your turn, Josh.
Two.
Unless you want to invite someone else on the show, just to
No,
just randomly say the number two.
no, that's right. So number two for me, I think this will be in your top five as well. This is Astrobot for me. Massive lover of 3D platformers. I think, we're Nintendo fans, that's a massive staple on our Nintendo consoles with Mario, and back in the day with like Banjo-Kazooie, things like that. And so we kind of, the renaissance of 3D platforming is here with the Astrobot this year. We got to celebrate playing this on a PlayStation console, something I don't do as often as I should, but I absolutely love playing this game, and I'm not the only one. And when I first got my PS5, you got Astro's Playroom, this sort of free tie-in game with the console to get to sort of experience, a bit of a tech demo in a way of what the PlayStation 5 controller can do, bit of a mix-in and celebration of all the PlayStation's hardware throughout the years leading up to the PS5. This takes a bit of a different route with the different franchises that have impacted the PlayStations over the years, the 30 years or so. So it's a bit of a perfect tie-in game to start the 30th anniversaries of PlayStation. But man, this game is so whimsically fun and beautiful. Sounds amazing. The platforming is just pure fun. And I was just always sort of smiling when I would get to like the next moment when, something different. I was getting a different power up for Astro, and everything from the dog that goes on the back of your head and launches and a big bark, and you sort of plow your way forward, to being a little mouse, and you're incredibly small and get to sort of see things from a completely different angle. The platforming that got offered from those power ups was really like fun and made it such a unique experience that I just can't recommend more for those who, if you love Mario, 3D Mario, play this game, you're not going to regret it. And, I think we saw Team Asobi reap the rewards, not just with some great sales, but also, winning really well at the Game Awards. It won Game of the Year, it won Best Family Game, won Best Game Direction, and Best Action Adventure Game as well. So just absolutely cleaned up at the awards. Metacritic of 94 or something. So anyone who's played this game's absolutely loved it. And I just want to see more of this from PlayStation and Team Asobi, because it just means that 3D platforming is we're going to get more of it, hopefully here to stay, and need a proper competitor to Mario just to make sure he's on his best behavior and delivering the best games possible. So number two for me, that one. I'm sure this is on your two as well.
I will be talking about it a little bit later.
A little bit later. Oh, there you go. Very good.
There we go. Yeah, 100% agree with you, Josh. Amazing game. Very good.
Yeah, very good.
Number two for me is Stellar Blade. I went into this game like I was really looking forward to this game. I thought it looked visually striking, and not just because of the protagonist, but it helps, I guess. It's not bad to look at. I'm being honest.
No,
is what it is.
Oh, I appreciate that. True.
But I remember when it got announced. Well, not got announced, but it got shown off in a state of play. I'm like, this game looks really cool. Just like really heavy action game where you play as protagonist Eve, and you're taking on like this really disgusting looking monsters that look just horrifying. It reminded me of like sort of like Gravity Rush in some aspects. Gravity Rush was like not as gross as this, nowhere near as gross, but I'm like, hey, it's got that sort of that little bit of a vibe going on, which is also one of my favorite games. So that's why I was sort of drawn to this. But as more sort of information came out about it, it's like it is leaning more towards that sort of Souls gameplay where it is get to a base, heal up, all of that, and then the enemies respawn, and it's going to be like very hard bosses, all of this. I'm like, oh Christ, really? Damn it! Like I don't want to get my head beaten in that much type of thing. But I still wanted to play it, so I jumped into it, and luckily there is sort of difficulty levels for this game, which is very handy. I played it on easy or casual or whatever it was called in the game. I can't quite remember now. But I played through that, and for like the first half a game, I found it pretty easy. I wasn't dying much or at all type of thing. Oh, this is great. This is what I want to do. But it was sort of challenging enough to not be just knocking my head against the wall, just going through it willy nilly. Because I think it's called story mode, which makes me sound like such a noob, Josh, such not a gamer. But there was like one of the aspects of that is that like obviously it's easier, but also when like a parry or something happens, like sometimes it gives you like it slows down time to like let you nail the timing, which was a good way to sort of learn the game and go through it. Because if I just jumped into it and just beat my head, I'm like, oh, for cross, I don't know. I'll probably just move on to something else. Got that much to play. I don't need to get my ass whooped necessarily. But allowing me to actually like just have my training wheels on and jump into the game that way and figure out the parry and all of the items. There's like a bunch of items I barely actually use, whereas like you can use them to like knock back the enemy and all of this type of thing, which I didn't really use, but it was like I really did get into like the combos that you can pull off, which like there's a skill tree which are slowly unlocking them as you go. And towards the end of the game, I felt myself like really sort of getting used to it. Like the training wheels, I felt like I could take them off a little bit. I was understanding like the combos that I actually want to use when I'm up against the boss. Ones that will push them back, ones that will break their shields, just sort of like actually really getting into the combat system. And it was like maybe the last fourth of the game where I was like, oh Christ, it's on story mode, but it is that I am finding it hard. I was dying a lot to like some of these bosses. But it wasn't in a frustrating way. It was sort of teaching me why people really like these games. I understand why people like them, because obviously overcoming a challenge in a game is fun. But when it's a challenge that takes you a few nights or a week to overcome, that's when it's not fun. Like I don't mind a couple of hours being like, oh look, I finally did it. But when it's maybe one of these Souls games, I'll probably be on it for a week trying to beat a boss. But I was really sort of enjoying that aspect, and even to the point where when I finish the game, it unlocks New Game Plus, where you can go through it again with all of your upgrades and all this type of thing. I'm like, I kind of want to do it again. Like I really sort of want to go back and just go for the gameplay now that I understand it, and then like I've got my abilities unlocked and I know what I'm doing a little bit more. I feel like I can take the training wheels off a little bit and go through it again and keep getting better and better. And the game does a really good job at that, of actually giving you like multiple New Game Pluses. Like you could play this again and again and again and just level up, and it gives you like new costumes and things to sort of unlock as you're going through the game. So they do a really good job with that. Like it's a story, but it is just like an arcade experience to some extent, where you can just go through it and just go through the bosses and the main story and just go through it. So that was sort of an eye-opening experience for me. So it was like, I enjoyed this game so much, but I kind of want to play it again. I didn't because I've got other games I wanted to get to, but there's definitely a part of me that just wants to chuck in Stellar Blade and just play it through again. And so yeah, the gameplay was fantastic. And I actually I bought Lies of P, which is another Souls-like game, because I kind of want to try some of these non-From Software Souls games that have difficulty levels, and they help you out a little bit, but maybe not too much necessarily. But I've heard good things about the story for Lies of P and all that, so I kind of want to experience that. So it's gotten me in. Like I've gotten my foot in the door with Stellar Blade. I was drawn into because of like the atmosphere and the protagonist and all of that. I like the whole vibe that the game had going. It's gorgeous. The soundtrack is phenomenal. I was so excited actually at one of the PlayStation State of Plays. One of the big announcements for me is that Stellar Blade, the original soundtrack, is now available on Spotify and Apple Music. I was like, oh yes,
Oh yeah.
because some of those boss themes and all of that, like they're so good. Like they're actual songs, like with Korean lyrics, which is really cool. And a lot of people poo-poo the story, saying it's silly or it's dumb or whatever. Like it's not a perfect story. Like I'm not gonna say like, oh look, it's just amazing. But I think how it ended up, I'm like, that was really cool. And there's choices that you can make, and there's it actually affects the story as well if you 100% the game. So there's basically 3 different endings of the game. So obviously I got one ending. But there's 3 different endings, and I guess there's one canon ending, which I looked up on YouTube afterwards. That's the one that you get if you 100% the game, do all the side quests, collect everything, all that type of thing. And it ended up in a really interesting spot. So if they announce Stellar Blade 2 and they continue on that story, I'll be there day one. It was a very cool game. It sort of introduced me to a genre that I sort of shied away from, and introduced me to like a really cool story as well, and all of the stuff that I love, like with just amazing music and great graphics, and just I was a little bit surprised of how much I enjoyed it. I knew I'd enjoy it because it looked cool.
Yeah.
I love action games, but Stellar Blade was really quite special. Really loved it. I would have liked it to get a little bit more acknowledgement from, I guess, the gaming community and the Game Awards and things like that. But it just was a great year, I guess. But this game in particular was one that stood out to me as one of the best. So absolutely loved it.
Yeah, and I get the whole Bayonetta vibes from it as well, the hack and slash kind of aspect, and that kind of angle. So definitely, like, I could see, maybe something I should check out one day as well and see. Yeah, can't believe April this came out. I can't remember. Sorry, I can't believe that. That's this whole year's flown by. But yeah, looked amazing, and you definitely sung some high praises early on when you were talking about it. Did it win anything at the Game Awards? I don't remember. Was it nominated
No,
for anything?
I can't remember if it did. I mean,
Sure.
for me, it would have definitely been up there for like original soundtrack. Final
Yeah.
Fantasy VII Rebirth won that, and obviously that probably would be better. I didn't actually end up playing that one, and who knows?
Okay, best
That-
score in
that-
music it got nominated for, and then best action game. So
Yeah, what won best action game? Is that there in your information there?
I'll have to click into it. What did win that?
Can't quite remember now.
No. Let me
It's-
just have a
For
quick.
me,
search.
like Stellar Blade should have been in that conversation, definitely.
Black Myth Wukong won best action game.
Yep, that's fair enough. I didn't play that one either. Who knows? But yeah, Stellar Blade, really great. If you haven't played it, you got a PlayStation 5. Easy recommendation, especially if it goes on sale or anything this time of year. Really liked it.
Yep.
And the story was it resonated with me, but I think you'll enjoy it regardless. Anyway, it's just a fun little thing to go along with a pretty deep combat system.
Yeah. No, no.
Yeah. All right, Josh, what's your number one?
My number one.
What could it be?
What could it be? So we've spoken about this many times, so probably no surprise to anyone who regularly listens to the show. But my number one is Emio, the Smiling Man, from the Famicom Detective Club series. This was, I did not expect this to be my number one. This was cryptically revealed at like July early this year with that 10-15 second trailer of a man with a bag over his head with a smile on it, thinking, what the hell could this be? We all sort of gave our theories. This could be Nintendo's proper entry into the horror series, or they're making some new IP franchise. Then we find out it's part of the Famicom Detective Club series, first game in like ages, like since '97, something like that, and pretty amazing. And I think a lot of people, got disappointed by that. I wanted something brand new, but it definitely piqued my interest. And playing through this game, knowing that Sakamoto produced it, the man who's been behind all the 2D Metroid games, worked on a lot of the WarioWare games like Wario Land 4, a lot of like the niche weird games that I really like with Nintendo. Sakamoto's worked on, and so it was kind of like, okay, this man, I like a lot of the stuff he's done and worked on, so I hopefully should like this, and definitely the case. Just for those who don't know, it's a visual novel. You got to solve this mystery of who this Emio, the Smiling Man, is. There are murders. How did it happen? Who's the one responsible? And it takes lots of turns, and there are twists along the way as you try and interview. You're a private investigator. You're interviewing all these people. You got to, put connections together, work out what the clues mean. The game's trying to test you, and you get a bit of a grade at the end, depending how well you deduce things and press the right buttons for questions when you ask people things. And it takes a really dark and twisted turn at the end, and something that I never thought Nintendo was capable of doing. But they really, it's grim, it's gruesome. I loved it for that reason. Nintendo, if it became a serial killer, this is what they do, and I loved it. Like, yes, this is some more mature adult stuff I'd want to see from them. They delivered it so well. This game definitely, I think, they marketed it so well to get some instant initial buzz for it. Rated all right, about the 7.5, I think, 75 on Metacritic. So it's done all right. It's definitely not for everyone. The whole visual novel concept, a lot of reading, a lot of like menu scrolling to work out what's the next prompt to get you to move along and keep things going. And there are moments where it's a little frustrating. You're trying to work out what to do, but I know it's a lot less than the first two that got remade and released on Switch in 2021. But the writing's excellent. The pacing might be a little one-sided at times, but I think overall they did such a great job with this that I was absolutely gobsmacked by how much I enjoyed it. Absolutely smashed it out in the 8 hours it took me. Love to play this again. Definitely want to play the other two properly. Get into those, The Missing Heir and The Girl Who Stood Behind. Because, yeah, I just want more experiences like this. And I'll say the same thing I said for Another Code. Because the Switch has gone on for so long, I feel we get stuff like this now. And so I'm very grateful that 2024 has helped provide these sorts of experiences. And I've really enjoyed the more visually moving Nintendo titles this year. 2 of them in the top 5 for me. So, yeah, massive surprise for me being a number one. This title, I wouldn't have believed myself at the start of the year telling me this would be the one. But this game's gripped me. I've thought about it frequently since. Loved talking to others online about it, watching videos, discussions on it. They did a great job. I absolutely love this game. Easily my number one for the year.
Yeah, I love but that's your number one. It's in my top 10. I love the game as well. Would you say that, like, is visual novels like a newer genre for you as far as
yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Not used to them in a video game
not used to
format.
them.
I've done Telltale before, with the India, Back to the Future, and then some of the Batman. But even then, that's limited. Not as heavy as like visually. With the reading and the text as this one is.
Yeah, it plays like a bit more of a movie because people are talking and there's camera angles and all this.
Yeah, a bit more sort of mini game kind of solving things as well.
Yeah, moving around and stuff. Yeah, yeah. Well, I think like for me as well. Like, yeah, I haven't played too many visual novels, so it might be a thing next year where if we should pick one out and play it and talk about it together and stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Seems like we enjoy this sort of thing. We enjoy a good story, a good mystery or whatever. We should, even if it's like another one of the Famicom Detective Club games, just sync it up to where we can actually like go, oh my god, are you at this part yet, or what do you think of the
Yeah.
ending? And that's what sort of made it fun for Emio, because it was all at the same time. People were like, oh my god, like the reached the end around the same time, and we sort
We
of talk
did.
about it and all of that.
Yes, people were pumping it up and talking about it, and oh, don't spoil it to me, and talking about specific things in the games, mechanics, things that worked well, things to potentially avoid. It was a very fun time. And then obviously hasn't sold a million because it hasn't been in the Nintendo financials, but I just hope it
No.
hits whatever other goals they had for it, and maybe eventually gets there. But I don't feel it's the type of game to do that.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. It was a great mystery, and the game sort of played with its mechanics a little bit, like its limited mechanics as far
Yes.
as like some parts in the story where that was very interesting as well. Yeah, there were some parts where it's like it felt a little bit slow at some points, and
Yep.
looking back at it, you're like, what really happened? But ultimately, it all had a payoff where it was just like,
Mm.
you're in like a small Japanese town, and sort of there's a big mystery going on, but ultimately not much happens in that town. And I guess that's the kind of vibe it goes for when you're going back
Yes.
to like, I guess, what do you call it? The detective agency, and you're sort of just like, what happened today? And you sort of like think about it, and you got to like answer the questionnaire, like, oh, what happened today?
Yeah, and there's I feel there's some chapters where like I feel like you didn't discover a lot, but you kind of reinforce some things, and I
Yeah.
felt it kind of captured. This is a little bit more like it would be in the real life of, in a way. You got like this is your
Yeah.
plan. They talk about what they're planning to do the next day. This is what I'm going to get, and these are the outcomes from that. And I think definitely some chapters where like you don't discover a lot, but it still has to be done. You've ticked off the things that you need to do, and then sometimes things, obviously, like the story turns and twists, and something extra happens on top of what you're expecting, and that's where the real fun stuff is. But I just thought that they captured that really well, and the characters, the recurring ones, the main lead investigator, and also the other two in the detective agency, I forget their names, but just really cool. People fans of the series, they're back again. There's a bit of recurrence there, and I just I thought they did a great job. The writing was really really great, and as a Nintendo fan, story driven games are few and far between. So I got this one, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, like if they do another one in the series, I'm there. I got my hand up saying, yep,
Yep, same here.
I'll pick up a copy like day one. Like I'm on board now. Like that was great. So
Yeah,
give me more of
this,
them. I'll be happy to jump onto it. That's for
definitely.
sure. So yeah,
Right. Now your number one.
my number one pretty much gave it away. But yeah, my number one
Yeah.
is Astrobot. Loved Astrobot. Obviously, a big Nintendo fan. Love Mario, and Mario's been a little bit absent this year. We had a beautiful 2D game last year, Mario Wonder. Love that game. I love Mario Wonder. And I think Astrobot, since playing like Astrobot Rescue Mission, no, was it Rescue Mission? No. Whatever the one that came bundled with the PlayStation 5, whatever that one was called. Playroom. Playing that, I was like, man, this is awesome. Fantastic. Like just the way it looks and plays. I love Astrobot and all of the sort of power-ups and mechanics and how this game feels. I'll be there day one if they ever decide to make this a full, proper retail game. And earlier this year when they said, look, we're doing that. We're doing just that, Drew.
Exactly that.
We're doing just that. And it's coming out in 3 months or whatever it was. I'm like, beautiful. Here we are. Here's my cash. And I slid it over the PlayStation. And they slid me back a little copy of Astrobot on disc, and I put it in my PlayStation. I bloody loved it, Josh.
So good.
Absolutely loved it.
Amazing.
And I played it over basically a week. And my experience with the game was getting home from work, jumping into bed, had the TV at the end of the bed, and I just 100% of the world each night. Jumped into it, found all the bots, did whatever you had to do, all of the challenges, made sure I did one of those worlds each night. And it was just so much fun. But like each level just has so much just diversity just between the mechanics and what you're doing. And I think it is truly that it really evokes just the Mario games, especially the Mario Galaxy games. I think what makes that game so special is that there are so many ideas and so many things that Mario can do that they put into each level of those games. So you're not just like, oh, look, I'm going to this one, get the star. Like you are doing different things every single time, and it's just so much fun to pull those off. It's not just like, oh, look, I'm just collecting these things. I'm not just collecting the bots, and that's what's fun about it. It is just like a game that is so much fun on a fundamental gameplay level that like every moment is you just having so much fun with it. And like an Astrobot where, you got like the power-ups that just are a lot of fun to pull off and all of that. I think like the power-up where like you can like swap between being like micro or large, that was like a really special level where you're able to like go really small or go really big, and like the dynamics of the level change depending on your size, and you can just sort of swap between them at ease. Like ideas like that are in every level, which was just so impressive. And that's what sort of blew it up to the Mario status, because we have 3D platformers. They come out, whether it's an indie or a double A publisher, stuff like that, where you hop and you bop around. But the Mario level is truly like just so many fun, creative ideas packed into a game, and that you can go back and play again and again and again, and just have fun with, just with the pure, just through pure gameplay. And Astrobot is one of the few games that does it that isn't Mario, which is just so impressive. And I really hope this series continues on. It's sold okay. I think it's roughly. I think last time they announced sales figures, it was like 1.5 million.
1.5, as of November. So we'll get to 2.
So yeah, it'll get to 2. It's certainly not like Horizon or God of War or any of these other PlayStation Studios games as far as they go. But Team Asobi, it's a team of 60 people. It's a smaller team. They can make a smaller game. They can take longer. It won't take as much of a budget. So
yeah,
maybe there is a nice little profit margin for PlayStation at some extent, but especially like winning Game of the Year, that was a big thing for Team Asobi, and them coming out and basically saying like, the inspiration for this was a little company that we can't name, but we know who they are.
That was
great. It's important that like 3D platformers aren't just Mario, because Mario is amazing. I love Mario, but Mario is Mario. Sometimes it's nice to get something that isn't Mario, that's got some ideas from another group of people, or some different enemies or different mechanics, or just other ways of presenting the game. Like in Astrobot, like there's no lives necessarily, so it works on a completely different mechanic as far as that goes. Just being on the PlayStation, it was really interesting to play a 3D platformer that was playing on really, I guess, just contemporary hardware, where a lot of like the physics, that was very interesting to play with, where it's just like it just drops like a heap of mangoes or apples on you, for example, and you can hold in square and you charge up your spin, and you just knock all these apples everywhere. And
so good.
Was there a reason for that? No, but it's just there because it's fun, and it's impressive on a technical level, because just having so many objects having all of their own momentum and their own physics.
Yeah. The controller as well, like the sound is it was a very, very cool moment that you're like, I can't wait for Mario to do this in a way, like to take stuff like this, and once it catches up in terms of technical specs, to do stuff like this and build on it.
Yeah, that's right. Like it actually opened eyes a little bit. Like I'm not going to say it's better than the best Mario game. I got no idea. I haven't sat down and thought about it to compare it. Look, it's probably not, but I don't know if nostalgia is clouding my vision when it comes to Mario Galaxy and some other Mario games, for example. I don't know. It might be. This might be the best 3D platformer of all time. I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and say that, but I feel like that would be wrong. I don't know. I don't know. I've got no idea, but I feel like it definitely bested Nintendo when it came to just yeah, like those physics and using the DualSense. Those were some aspects that we haven't seen on a Nintendo platform because a Nintendo platform hasn't been able to offer that up to this point. So in that respect, it's kind of like, Mario would be kind of cool for them to step it up in that aspect. Like you could imagine a Mario game where there's just like so much stuff going on and it's there just to play with it. Like there's a bunch of stuff that's there to play with. It's not like push the boulder up the top of the hill to get the power star. It's just like there's something to push around, and it's like it's technically impressive and it's fun. But yeah, that's something that Astrobot did really well, which was really cool. But yeah, like some of the challenge levels as well. There were some that were like, "Durr," like just damn it, like. But with like having no lives or anything, you'll just put back to the start and you just try again, try again, try again, try again. And I really enjoyed it. I actually haven't gone back for the DLC for any of the DLC trial levels or the time trial levels. So I reckon that would be a lot of fun to get back to.
It's good to them.
And I think they actually introduced like a new level or a new world or something too, something a little bit bigger, like a snow world or something.
Some Christmas thing, I think they introduced.
So Christmas, yeah, nice. That'll be should play it soon then to be timely with it.
Yes, I need to finish the game. I haven't finished it yet. It's number 2 on my list, and I haven't finished it. But I've just loved it, and I think for me, because it's PlayStation, I find it harder to sort of pick up, and we when I'm gaming on the TV, it's a bit harder. So the Switch helps with that, a bit more flexibility. But yeah,
you say that, but you always say that you play your Switch on the TV most of the time
as well. Yeah, I know.
So I don't know. You got some mental gymnastics there you need to work out, Josh.
Maybe you need to work through it a bit. Correct.
Yeah.
I've
got a psychiatrist for that one. It's like, look, I don't use my PlayStation because it's on the TV, but I actually use my portable Switch on the TV most of the time. So try and make that. Maybe the next episode, Josh, I'll play the therapist and we'll try and work this.
I'll lie
work
down
it through a bit
and get on the lounge, and you can just unpack that for me. That would be good.
Yeah, I'll unpack it there for you, mate. I'm like, look, mate.
Look,
do you play your Switch portable that much?
This. Yes.
Yeah, we really need to dig. This is really important. Really important.
Sorry, Josh. The hour's just elapsed. You need to pay another $1,000 for us to continue, if you'd like.
Yeah. Well, I'm not qualified, so I'm actually pretty cheap. So that works out well for you.
Okay, only 500.
Only 500. That's right.
Yeah. But yeah, I got to finish it, and I will. I've loved it. It's a great game, and definitely see why it's number 1 for viewers.
Yeah, because when I finished it, I'm like, that was so much fun, and I actually felt like a little bit sad. I did everything. I was like, man, it's all done. I wish that DLC was there then. Like, I'm like, oh man, I'm finished. Then it pops up. Oh look, DLC, nice. And I would have kept playing it, but at that point, I was, playing something else or don't know. But yeah, I was sad that it was all finished. So I kind of had like that sad moment. Well, look, tonight I'm not going to go and play a new world. I've done it. A little bit sad. Yeah, a little bit of a tear swelling up.
It's got me excited for next year because I'm like so excited for what 3D Mario is going to the next generation is going to bring. And Odyssey, I absolutely love that game. It's an amazing 3D game. Bowser's Fury, we got a little bit of a glimpse, I feel, of what's to come in 2021 with the Super Mario 3D World. So I just, if this is any indication of the type of next-gen things we're going to get, we're in for a really great time. So this job just got me more excited for what's to come next year.
Yeah, definitely. If we don't see 3D Mario next year, we're a little bit disappointed.
It's not next year. Would have been 8 years end of next year.
Yeah.
Since Odyssey, if we don't get anything.
I think there's actually no way we're not getting 3D Mario next year unless it gets internally delayed or something. But it's just like, I think Nintendo's at the point now it's like, look,
it's ready.
We want to release it because we actually want to make some good cash.
I feel it's ready and they're just polishing up now. And like, we've got time, we'll do an extra thing now. And, and that's surely that's the stage where they're at now. And Mario Kart 10 or whatever you want to call it, 9, is ready to go surely now as well. And they're doing the whole DLC run. I don't know. They're raring. They're ready to go.
I'd like to imagine that instead of doing the next Mario Kart game, they've just been really polishing up Arms too. That's what that studio's been
I'd be
making.
so excited, Drew, if we got Arms 2. I really want Arms 2.
I'd love Arms too. I don't
They
know if I
really want
want
a
it
good
more
lore with
than.
that game.
I don't know if I want it. I'd. I don't know if I'd want it instead of a brand new Mario Kart after.
Oh,
How many years that's been?
I definitely know that.
That's been
Definitely
10
know that.
years. That's been
Yeah.
10 years to Mario Kart 8. It's been 10 years, dude.
I know. We've
Like, I
had
love
some
Mario
good
Kart 8.
DLC, but
But
yes.
Christ almighty.
Yeah, we are so
Christ.
due. It's like GTA 5 to 6. The more successful the games are, the longer they are because they can milk them.
Yeah, like GTA 5, like literally that was the year after like I finished high school. I remember all of my friends being like, yeah, like we're all sort of just on a gap year doing fuck all. And when that game comes out, everyone's excited about it. And yeah, just completely different
Mm.
period of my life since GTA 5. Yeah, crazy. Like there'll be some kids who are like went from little babies to leaving high school.
Oh, huge. Yeah, that next year will be massive for that as well. Not just the Nintendo stuff we've been talking about.
Yeah, there's a part of me that like really, it'll be really cool if Nintendo's worked out their partnerships and they've actually got GTA 6 on Switch. I feel like that would be
Jeez. God.
because instead of them
Gotta take
competing with
GTA
it, they're
5 and
like, hey,
Splatoon
look,
2 first.
like, yeah, I wish that was the case, but I don't think it will be. I think it's going to be a
Mm.
game that's going to be pushing tech quite a bit. So
Oh,
I
yeah,
don't know.
it's not coming to a Nintendo console anytime soon, I would have thought.
No, it would be nice though.
Definitely.
We'll get GTA 5 on Switch too.
Yeah, correct. Which would be funny.
Oh. At that point, I'd be like, oh, Christ, I'd rather just not get
Yeah,
anything.
What's the point? Yeah, what's the point?
Oh, no. But yeah, that's our top 5 games of the year.
Yeah.
Just, I guess, go over them again, Josh. What were your top 5?
Yeah, so I had Emio the Smiling Man at number 1, Astrobot number 2, Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door at number 3, Prince of Persia the Lost Crown at number 4, and then Another Code Recollection at number 5.
Nice. I had Prince of Persia, Life is Strange, Double Exposure, Farewell North. My phone's gone flat, so my list is gone. So yeah, Farewell North. What did I talk about? Stellar Blade and Astrobot. So that was my top 5. And I actually want to do a video going over this. This was my idea at the start of the year as well. So once my list was put together, I'm going to try and do a YouTube video where I go over like my 51 games that I played this year.
Yeah, nice.
All ranked from like number 51 to number 1. So if you see it on YouTube, I did it. If I didn't, if it's not there, I didn't do it.
No.
Because it'll take a while to do, but hopefully I'll make the time for it.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to doing it all year, so I got to make sure I actually do it.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, come on, Drew. Fucking wake up. Wake up. Yeah. Oh, well, that was a lot of fun, Josh. Anything else you'd like to touch on before we get in our high horse and just gallivant out of here?
I'll just plug my latest episode of Nintenvania. I had a Christmas episode special out today, or 23rd of December, out now for those listening. I had my brother on, Nick. We had a really fun time reminiscing about our old gaming memories, us growing up together, plus Tom, our other brother, who was in the recording, but he was one of the other brothers. Everything from my evil gift giving, how we avoided the Xbox Ring of Death on our 360, and the real time we actually did real life Super Smash Bros. And I lost and broke something as a result.
That sounds great. I'd love to listen to that. That sounds like a lot of fun. Hearing the did he share any embarrassing moments? Because all your guests, like they don't know Josh like your brother would know you.
Yeah, so he does straight from the get go. He reveals a musical instrument I used to play as a kid, which I've never talked about on the show. And all those other moments, he manages to mention a couple of things for sure.
Nice. So I'll make sure I
Yeah.
clip them and I'll bring them up whenever I can to embarrass you. There you go.
Yeah, just listen, and if you have any follow up questions, we can talk about them on the next episode of House of Mario.
Yeah. And do you have anything to say about the Fantasy Critic as well?
Yes, thank you. I forgot about that. So we are looking to get people into our new season of House of Mario and Nintendovania's Fantasy Critic. So if you're listening and would like to join, the links are in our Discord. So join one of our Discords. We've had the links in there. Definitely better if you're a Discord member because we have updates and we there's reminders and things like that. But Fantasy Critics literally just you get a budget at the start of the year. You pick a whole bunch of video games. We take turns and you pick games based on how well you think they will score Metacritic wise. So the higher the score, the more points you get. It's a bit of fun. Bragging rights on the line, that kind of thing. I won it this year at this rate, so I think I beat Eggman, edged him out. So he's
Suck
been very
shit, Zach.
yeah, suck shit. He was very helpful and was very accommodating to help us get up to speed. And I took on his advice, and I think it helped me this year. Obviously, getting the win. So. Love to get as many people as possible in. We'll start the drafting in the next few days, so you get in pretty quickly. If you're listening to this, I'd get on it straight away, including yourself, Drew. I'd get your publisher in tonight or tomorrow if you're thinking of doing it.
Oh, that's soon. All right. Yep. Easy.
Done. That's housekeeping. I think that's all I had.
Nice. Well, beautiful. Cool. Excellent. I like it.
I like you.
I like you too, Josh. And with that, I like you as well, listeners. If you enjoyed this, give us a 5-star rating, review, all of that type of thing. Helps out the show. If you don't want to do it, that's fair enough too. We're just happy you're here. Hope you had a great holiday. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Let's kick the doors into 2025. Make some New Year's resolutions. Play some backlog games. Look forward to Switch 2. It's going to be a fun year. It's going to be a great year. You're going to have a lot of fun.
Hell yeah.
And I hope you choose to spend it with us here at the House of Mario again. Once again, really appreciate it. It's been a big year for the House of Mario, you know, with Josh coming on and everything. And, don't know, it's going well. So thank God for that.
Mm-hmm.
But until next time, guys, the doors to the House of Mario, they're closed. Catch you later.